Welcome back to the Perfect Balance channel. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Just want to cover the start of the CrossFit Games this season, and in particular I want to cover event 3. So I think event 3 was brought forward due to the weather changes inside the Coliseum. Leave a comment and I want to see what you guys thought of some of the changes. And I want to cover some of the changes in this video. So the big change or big addition was that Adrian Bosman brought in the crossover in the final event. So for the women and the men's event, they had to do the final heat with a crossover after the pegboard. What was your take on that, guys? There's been mixed reviews on it. I like the addition to it. I think that you saw the progressions all the way through the different stages. If you made it through each round, from single unders to double unders to then the new addition being the crossovers, you can see the progression in terms of the strictness of gymnastics. I think there was a large portion of the finalist athletes, I think 5 in each, were struggling with the crossovers and had to do sort of single reps on the crossovers. Apart from, I think one of the men's managed to link a good 7 or 8 reps, so that was good to see. But my advice for those that want to give the crossovers a try is to make sure that first of all you've got good height in your rebound and your jumps over the rope, and then bringing the knees up to the chest is a big one. That guarantees that space to cross the rope over, and then to allow the rope to travel underneath the feet. And then once you sort of pick up the rhythm, pick up the tempo, you'll be able to do multiple reps instead of just doing double under into a crossover, and sort of scaling back and down. You can keep a continuous flow in that part of the new addition with the rope. Some guys and some girls were using different ropes, so that's something else to look out for. The rope was slightly heavier, and that just allows you to feel, whilst you're doing your crossovers, you're allowed to sort of feel the rope where the rope's at, and gauge the speed on the turnover through your wrists, not through your shoulders. We don't want to burn the shoulders out. What else have we got here? So included was in the final event was the parallel bars, where the athletes had to do a press to handstand. Now, I'm not sure what quite the ruling is. I know they had to show an L sit and then press the handstand, but some of the athletes were obviously a little bit fatigued by this point, so they've already done 3 workouts. I think there needs to be maybe a little bit more clarity on the L sit and then press the handstand. So heels should be above the parallel bars in the L sit and then press towards handstand. And I know it's for time, and I know it's about not necessarily doing it quick as possible, but doing it with good quality. So the event is quite strict when it comes to the gymnastics work. It's heavy gymnastics based, but I just thought with that sort of new addition, that was a little negative there with not knowing what sort of, whether or not the athletes were completing the L sit and then pressing to handstand. Some of the athletes, I'm not knocking the athletes, some of the athletes were not really performing the best L sit and then pressing up to handstand. I wouldn't give it as an L sit, doing a tuck sort of tuck lead position, but maybe going over the rules, make it a little more clear would sort of dust things up with that. But I want your guys' opinion on whether or not it should be event in itself, So a press to handstand is usually worked in the men's and women's artistic world from a very young age. It is one of the sort of core principles for linking the held handstands and getting a low level skill but on the apparatus, especially for young gymnasts, especially for like under 10s and under 8s, to be able to press the handstand, whether it be from the L-sit or straddle L-sit, and straddle lift handstand or pike lift handstand, so with your legs together. Do you think in the CrossFit Games they should just have a strict event like they do with the muscle ups, 30 ring muscle ups at a time? Should they have an event where they've got to do a max L-sit lift to handstand, very similar to, like I say, 30 ring muscle ups for time, or max handstand hold? I think that would be a good addition with stepping up the sort of the quality to the gymnastic side of CrossFit. So yeah, what are your guys' take on that? Leave a comment below. Should they add max L-sit lift to handstand or press to handstand? So yeah, last thing I want to cover is the teams. Teams was a little bit different on the speed medley. I really enjoyed seeing all aspects of the worm included, the pegboard, and then obviously they used sort of full height parallel bars to walk along the parallel bars, and then do dips, and then repeat the process on the way back. Again, this is something done as a progression from an early age, from a competitive girls and boys artistic side of gymnastics. So the CrossFit HQ and the games organisers have sort of taken that prerequisite and put it into the CrossFit Games for the teams. I really like that addition. For those that have never walking along the P-bars and putting dips at the end of it, it burns your shoulders, burns your arms out very quickly. So you may have seen some of the athletes strategizing and resting after one full length, which is a good idea to do. So yeah, just your feedback, guys. Leave a comment, share the channel, subscribe to the channel. I really enjoyed that event that's been put together for the speed medley, whether it be individual or as a team. I thought it was very well put together, and I like that there was, at the games level certainly, I like the fact that there is a lot of sort of very strict discipline gymnastics. The more that sort of push the envelope for the athletes, the better, because as we've seen, obviously CrossFit's got to be constantly varied, and it's got to change all the time and progress. And you know, a lot of certainly the bigger athletes with big names and whatnot have a lot of time to practice skills like that. Single unders is something again that can be a little bit undervalued when you're at a certain RX level or elite level. Doesn't always get worked, but as we saw last night during event 3, they had to progress from the very basic levels with high volume and then changing the skill to make it more complex, and yeah, adding that extra quality and making sure the athletes execute. I think that was the big word that the commentators were using, to bring execution into a fitness sport from men and women's artistic, where they have to show high start values, and obviously execution is judged separately and then is brought together from the artistic world. But in CrossFit, it's not always the case. You can sort of get away with not having that straight lines or straight arms at certain points, and a nice straight core, straight lines. You can get away with that, but in events like that where they are strict movements and especially under fatigue, you need to keep that sort of strict movement, then I'm all for that. Where they're going to go next in the next 5 years, who knows? I've had my thoughts with what they could add, sort of thing. I think the women's event with the handstand walk portion, I think they could do it with the parallel bars on the floor. Why they didn't, I don't know. HQ must have their reasons for that. But I think the ladies could do it on the parallel bars. And then, yeah, like I said earlier in the video, if you guys think they should have a max rep of press handstand, leave your thoughts below. A little bit of a different strength test, that, in terms of arms are kept straight, whereas a lot of the CrossFit workouts are you know, bent arm to straight arm, or straight arm to bent arm, and working through that push-pull phase, whereas press handstand will be a continuous straight arm isometric hold sort of exercise. So yeah, that's all I want to say. I really enjoyed that event 3. For some it's controversial because of the jump rope and the crossover at the end, and sort of the struggle from the high-end athletes isn't something that everyone's sort of accustomed to, but people will practice, they'll go away, and they'll manage to get it like all the other skills that have been added over the years, including the pegboard itself. People are still struggling with that, but that's what CrossFit's all about. It's finding out who's the most well-rounded, who's able to pick up the skills the quickest and just adapt and go with it. So yeah, leave your comments, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.